Hi, good morning. It's Kat here again, and I'm going to do a quick reading for somebody who was more than willing to let me post this online on Facebook. I'm not going to reveal who the person is, but she was good with it. So just before I start doing that, I'm just burning a little bit of white sage here. I'm just going to smudge the decks that I chose to use. And just in case she or anybody else is interested, I'm using the Slow Tarot. These are all, sorry, these are all favorites of mine. This is the Tao Oracle. And last but not least, we have the Messenger cards, which is another one that I love. And just burning little tiny bits of sage because it's so hot. We have the air on, so I'm not opening up any of the windows. Anyway, there we go. So I'm just gonna flip the camera and I'm gonna come back and do the reading. So be right back. Okay, so the question you had asked was, should you move in with your significant other? I'm just gonna give these a little bit of a shuffle. I love this deck. It shuffles really nicely, but I have trouble shuffling it because the cards are long and my hands are so small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out all my cards, but I'm going to start with a card that represents sort of the heart of the matter. And in this case, I really sort of think that the heart of the matter is you. You're at the heart. You are at the heart of the matter. So I have the King of Wands. Let me just pick this up and show you so you get a good look at it. There he is. So the King of Wands. This sort of person is somebody who I feel is in charge and comfortable, comfortable in your own skin. I think there's a real leadership here, a real strong personality. I think you are probably somebody who seeks a lot of long-term success. I think you're in things for the long run. I think you want things to work out for a long time. It's not something that's going to be quick and dirty, like, I don't want to say one night stand, but that sort of idea where it's just like fun for the moment and then it's done and over with. I think you're somebody who's in there for long-term success. I also think that you want to look at things with a clear vision, and that's probably why you've asked this question. And I think this is a great question to ask. I think this is, this is I think this is a bigger decision. I think it's not a decision that should be made lightly, by any means. So let's just move that one out of the way. So I'm going to draw for 3 positions. The first position is going to be you. The second position is going to be the other person involved. And the third position is going to be what's going on. Okay? So we have, I'll hold this up again for you. We have the 4 of Wands. So that's 2 wands. We have the Page of Cups. And we have the 3 of Swords. Now, don't freak out. The 3 of Swords, that looks like, heartbreak, everything's doomed. That's not always necessarily the case. So let's just leave that in there. And I'm going to give the second deck a little shuffle. Oops. Okay. So, we've got oppression. Actually, I'm gonna hold that up. Oppression. I've changed the physical space that I do readings in, so I'm just getting a little I'm a little more comfortable with this. Following would be the second one. And the third one is treading. So that's the third one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at you, and that's the Four of Wands here. The Four of Wands is generally, a card of celebration. It's like a happy card. It's where sometimes we see success that has come from new teamwork, so like new success. And in this card, if we have a closer look at it, we see kind of a garden down here. There's carrots. There's, like a vegetable garden in this hut with all this greenery on it. It's like a bountiful garden. It's all growing. And so it's like you're growing and you're starting to reap the rewards of all your hard work. And maybe it's hard work with somebody, or maybe it's hard work that you've put into things yourself, but you've put some energy and dedication into things, and now you're starting to reap the rewards, and you're starting to feel some success with this. The image on this card, and if you look at this person here, this person is down here working away, and this person over here is watching what's going on behind them. They're not really focusing anymore. And so this suggests to me that maybe even though you're enjoying what you've got, you're a bit distracted by what's going on around you. And maybe you're not exactly ready to focus solely on one thing. Maybe you're not as ready as you think you are to take this next step, So that's definitely one feeling that I have. If we look at this oppression card, and oppression is such a negative word, but it doesn't always have to be. Some of the keywords we have here are restriction, exhaustion, feeling cut off is one that stands out to me. So again, if we go back here, and it's almost like you're feeling cut off from the other people in the background, the people who are also in your life. So it's almost like it's almost like one of the things that you need to be consider is do you want to be confined with one person, with one relationship, in one place? Is that going to lead you to a kind of an emotional exhaustion? Are you going to feel restricted? Are you ready to make that commitment? So those are some things that you personally need to consider. Something else that just struck me was, just by looking at the image here, this looks like a person who's turned their back on what's going on, who's kind of going within, who's, maybe really trying to make some considerations. So I'm almost thinking that it would be worthwhile to have a look at the other people involved, or the other person involved, and to have a really clear vision of what those person's tendencies are. Is there a tendency for control? Or do you feel that you'd be giving up control? Do you feel like that would be a restriction, like that loss of control over everything that you plan and you work for so hard and so diligently? And that's that King of Wands coming through, right? That's that being in control, being, master of those things. And are you afraid of feeling like you'd be giving some of that up? So those are some things that I think really require some consideration on your part. So let's have a look at the second cards here. We have the Page of Cups and the following card. And the Page of Cups, I always think, is such an interesting card, especially in this deck, because right up here we have this fish that's kind of flying out of a bowl of water, and that card or that image always makes me think of a fish out of water, or not really knowing, not being comfortable in one's shoes. So we have the Page, and that's, you know, it's like that beginning of a new adventure, and sometimes it can be kind of moving into things a little bit too quickly. The other interpretation that I get from this particular card is a feeling of innocence and inexperience. It's like, you know, wanting to do the things that you think you want to do, but maybe not being completely ready to do it. Kind of like doing something out of the blue, but not really sure about how to make it work. And that's that naivete or inexperience shining through. So that's something else to worry about. As well, for this other person, we have following. And some of the keywords here are loyalty, cooperation, trust, receiving guidance. So if we think about loyal and reliable, are they really? Are those traits that you see in this person? Do you believe that those are positive traits in this person? Or is that, you know, the other way to kind of look at that is to think, you know, are those traits within this person, are they born of inexperience? You know, is it just who they think they are, but they don't really have the experience in life in order to really be that person? The other thing that I see is kind of a dichotomy here is we've got you at the heart of things, and with that King of Wand energy in control. And then we have this card down here, or this card, and even this card, where it's kind of like that beginning stages, naivety, inexperience, following. You know, is this person a follower? Are they just following you? Are you know, are they looking to you to make all the, I don't want to say to support them, because that might make you think that it's financial support or it's emotional support. But either way, those are definitely some other things to consider. Now, clearly, I told you this before, I'm not ever going to give you a yes or no answer, but I hope that I'm providing you some things to really consider and think about. Okay, so let's look at what's going on around you. And we have this Three of Swords, and I'm the first one to admit that this really looks like it's the end of things, but I think it's what the suggestion, or what it does suggest, that's worthwhile looking at. So sure, I mean, this could definitely lead to breakup and heartache, and that's traditionally, that's the sense of the card. But I also think that it symbolizes kind of emotional pain or emotional strife. And I think it's encouraging you to really think about the things that you're giving up. Are you going to achieve the things that you really want? Or is somebody going to be inevitably hurt in the end, you know, because you've rushed into it too quickly, or you didn't give it enough consideration, you didn't look at all the pros and cons and the possibilities. So again, I mean, this doesn't mean that things are necessarily going to end in heartache and breaking up, but I think honestly that if you don't look and consider at your way of thinking, your way of being, your personality and your character, and weigh that against this other person's traits and character and the kind of person that they are, that this is definitely, you know, this could end up being a reality, being a possibility, a reality. We also have the treading card, and some of the keywords here are conduct, proceed with caution, act responsibly. So I think you need to do exactly what it says, act responsibly. You know, is this the right thing to do? Should you take more time? Should you look more clearly at things? Be careful before making any decisions. Proceed with caution, just like it says. The Three of Swords doesn't necessarily predict heartache, like I said, but you know, it showed up here on the table. Spirit brought this here for one reason or another. And I hope that you are taking the time to weigh out all of this stuff beforehand. The other thing that I sometimes see in the Three of Swords, and the Three of Swords is usually always a very similar image, is the number 3. You, your significant other, and who else? Right? Is it, you know, is it another person? Is it another interest? Is it, you know, a family member who can keep their nose out of your business? You know, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways that you can look at it. And that's why I think it's really super important for you to take some time to just look at everything and make some considerations based on what you come up with. So last but not least, I'm going to get us a little shuffle. I'm just going to wrap this up with one quick card from this deck. Oh yeah, Enter the Cave. There you go. So if you think about this, we've got this bear. Bears hibernate. They go into their cave. They take a time. It's like they have a great big time out, right? So I think what Spirit's trying to tell you is to take some time out to consider some things. Don't rush into things. Take time to consider, you know, who you are, who your significant other is, the kind of person you are, what you're going to put up with, what you're going to welcome, what you're not going to welcome, what's going to be, what's going to contribute positively to your life and what's not going to contribute positively. And have a look and at what the outcomes could be as well. I think the big meaning behind this card right now is not to rush. Don't rush things. Take your time, really have a good look at it. So I think that's about it. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always get a hold of me, and you know how to do that. And I think that's it for now. So I shall wish you good luck.